Evening, everybody. It's about 8:35 on Friday night, and we are coming here today. Michelle was just with everybody. I was not there, but breaking in on this Artemis 2 reentry to talk about the breaking news with Eric Swalwell, who is one of the leading candidates for governor of California, a congressman from California, a well-known face to people who are in the Democratic resistance, and somebody who was very aggressive with respect to Donald Trump's many, many misdeeds on the Judiciary Committee. The reason we wanted to do this show tonight is because a couple reasons. One is I'm going to give you some breaking news here. I got the permission of the woman to discuss this. I cannot give you her name, but I did speak at length earlier today, before the story broke, with one of the 4 survivors who accused Eric Swalwell of sexual misconduct. This is the main survivor who accused him of sexual assault twice. She was his former staffer. She was very, very young. And she was she told me the whole story. And then that story ultimately ran in the San Francisco Examiner and also now on CNN, where 3 other women have come forward. I want to just say this, because when I tweeted out in support of her, I received a tremendous amount of pushback from people in the Democratic Party about her. And saying that she was anonymous, and so therefore she's somebody who should not be trusted. Saying that she is this is a plant by the Republicans, saying that she's a plant by Katie Porter, former Congresswoman Katie Porter, who's one of the women, one of the people running against Eric Swalwell for governor. I want to just say this, having spoken to her. She is not any of those things. She is a lifelong Democrat who still works in the Democratic space. And she has zero interest in who the next governor of California is. She is not aligned with any other candidates. She is a survivor. She's a survivor who was forced into having a sexual relationship with her much, much, much older boss. She's a survivor who was plied with alcohol twice by that boss and blacked out so much that she does not recall having sex with him. She's somebody who relayed in minute detail what happened to her years ago, right after it happened, not knowing that he was going to be running for anything. And so, and she's somebody who did not come forward for a number of reasons, not the least of which is that she did not come forward because, unfortunately, women still are stigmatized when they come forward, but also because she is a Democrat and she did not want to go after somebody who was such a prominent Democrat and somebody who I think otherwise was doing good work, which is a big reason as to why people do not come out in politics.
Yes.
I want to just say this for all the people on Substack.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
Twitter.
There was oh, okay. I was going to say there's an error on the stream, so it's not working on Substack tonight. But
all the people on Twitter, excuse me, who are complaining that she waited too long, or these other women waited too long, and why are they doing this now? And it's because he's running for governor, and so on and so forth. First of all, it is not for anybody but the survivor to decide when they're going to come forward.
Yeah.
Second, and this is really critical, somebody said, why is she coming forward now after he's already become an elected official? Well, because this behavior didn't happen until he became an elected official.
Right.
And for anybody who's doubting her but believes all of Donald Trump's accusers, why? Because he is of the same political party that you are? Think about that. Think about what you think about MAGA for excusing all of Trump's bullshit.
Yep.
Because he happens to be sticking it to the libs every day. And yet that's what people are doing on social media. So.
I have a couple thoughts here before we get into it. I was looking at those comments also, Julie, and to see these sorts of comments coming not only from Democrats, but Democratic women, who I've seen the same kind of person, to your point, talking about Donald Trump, and how he should be held accountable. But the same flavor, tone of their messages and comments today about Eric Swalwell are reflective of what MAGA, like the MAGA scum, say about Donald Trump. Well, why did these women come forward now? Why did they wait until the second term? Why didn't they come forward before? Why? These women are lying. Why are they lying? It's the same shit. And you want to know why women don't come forward is because of people like you. That is why. And because of people like Eric Swalwell, whose attorney was sending cease and desist letters to these women, telling them essentially to shut up. When you read, and we will get into this article from the San Francisco Chronicle that I have teed up here, the details surrounding this are graphic. They are horrifying. So if this subject matter is, if you are sensitive to it, this is your warning now that we're going to be talking about this. But the other thing here is like the political part of this, as a person in politics. And, Julie is someone who has stood up to very powerful people in her career. And while I have never been the victim of assault in the workplace by any means, I have been told, don't say this about so-and-so powerful person. Don't hold this person accountable because it's going to...
I don't know if you froze or
really happening. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
What's going on? If you're in the chat, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
It's me or if it's Julie.
It's you, Michelle. Why don't you come back? Why don't you leave and come back? Michelle? All right, I'm going to keep talking until Michelle comes back. In fact, I'm going to kick Michelle out of here and then she will come back. I'm going to just say this. I remember when my friend Gretchen Carlson came forward about Roger Ailes at Fox News. And it was, I believe it was July 4th or 5th. It wasn't the 4th. It was obviously, it was the 5th. It was a week or so before Michelle's internet just went out. It was a week or so before the Republican convention. And a lot of people thought that this was some ploy on the Republican side to blow up Fox News because Roger Ailes was Fox News in advance of a presidential election. Of course it wasn't. It was a sexual harassment survivor, coming forward to talk about her story at a time that made sense to her. And I remember when I came forward against the now former governor of New Jersey, then a candidate for governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy. And it was in the midst of his gubernatorial campaign. And I remember a lot of Democrats, although I dedicated my life to the Democratic Party, saying, well, you're doing this because you're working against him, even though I was working in his campaign. You're working against him, and this is obviously you're in league with his enemies, and you're trying to do this. And no, the reason I did it was because I had young women coming to me talking about what a toxic environment his campaign was, and they wanted some justice, and I tried to get it for them. So none of us knows why these survivors chose to come forward now. I mean, I know why the survivor chose to come forward now. She chose to come forward now because the Swallwell campaign made it quite clear that they were not taking her allegations seriously. And Eric Swalwell has been in office for 14 years, 7 terms. Eric Swalwell clearly, if you look at the CNN story, misused his office to go after women who either worked for him or looked up to him or reached out to him for political advice. And you cannot ever criticize Donald Trump or any of the Epstein people if you are not going to hold your own side accountable too. And I have said from day one, if Bill Clinton was ever caught up in the Epstein files, lock him up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You do not do this to women. The woman in question who I spoke to was 20 years old when she went to work for him. She was 21 when he whipped his penis out and told her to suck it, and then got her drunk and had sex with her so violently that she was bleeding. He was in his late 30s. And I just want us to be better than this. And I want us to support survivors. And I don't want us to ask why she waited so long. E. Jean Carroll waited a lot longer. And she came forward when Donald Trump was president. And all the same shit got thrown at her. And at her trial, she was asked by Trump's lawyers, what took you so long? Obviously, you were doing this for political reasons, right? We wouldn't support that if somebody's doing that to an accuser of Donald Trump. Why are we supporting that kind of shit against a Democrat just because we happen to like the politics of the man whom she's accusing? Trust me on this, you guys. I'm sorry I'm getting so emotional, Michelle, but I run a nonprofit that focuses on these issues day in, day out. And I get immune to listening to this sometimes because I hear from so many women, and I've heard from so many women, that it takes a lot for me to start gasping. And I gasped when I spoke to this woman today for what she told me. And I will also say to you that we cannot become immune to this. And I can also say to you that because I speak to so many women, I promise you about men that most of you will never know who these men are. Even if they're important, famous people, I sometimes turn on the TV and I see these men and I know what they did because their survivors have called me to tell me, to commiserate. And yet they don't want to come forward because they're too scared, and I respect their privacy. But I promise you on all that is holy that there are as many Democrats as there are Republicans. This is not a partisan issue. It is not. It is about power. It is not about politics. So I'm telling you right now, he's got to go. He's got to go. If he wants to clear up his good name, he can go ahead and do that. But there are 4 women out there, one of whom went on the record, one of whom is a Democratic influencer, Michelle. You know her, I don't. You think she's making this up? The other woman who's not on the record, 3 other women did not go on the record. The woman who I spoke to, who's the main accuser, I promise you, she is not a Roger Stone plant. She is not a MAGA plant. She's not a Katie Porter plant. She's not. She's a young woman who just made the most courageous decision of her life, fully anticipating that he's going to out her. She does not want to be outed because she knows, and I agree with her 100%, that once you are out there as a whistleblower, it is, trust me on this, it is very hard professionally. It is very hard professionally. And she knows it. And I think she just wants to move on with her life. But she wants him to be held accountable. And I think if he hadn't been so fucking arrogant about this, she probably would not have said anything. But I'm also telling you right now that we have to support her and women like her, or else nobody's ever going to come forward. And this cannot be that we just accuse Donald Trump of bad behavior and Howard Lutnick of bad behavior and all the Republicans on the Epstein list of bad behavior and Melania of being complicit. And when it's convenient for our narrative, we're fine with it. But when it's not convenient for our narrative because it's one of our liberal heroes, that suddenly we have to go through, well, she didn't come forward publicly. We don't know her name. She's anonymous. Why should we believe her anonymously? Well, the reason is because the press never discloses sexual assault survivors, ever. That is a practice that the press has. They do not disclose the names of sexual assault survivors, ever. But they also don't print things just to print them. There's a lot of corroboration, and she has it. And I've seen it. And it exists. Trust me on this if you don't trust her. I don't have a horse in this race. I could not care less who the next governor of California is. I live in New York City. God bless California. I hope it's a Democrat. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care if it's Steyer. Don't care if it's Porter. Don't care if it's some random mayor of San Jose whose name I can't imagine what it is right now. I'm sure everybody knows him out in California. I do not care. So I have no horse in this race, but I do work with survivors every day. And I'm telling you right now, we have to have their back. We cannot be blue anon here. Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
No, please don't be sorry. I apologize. My internet completely dropped out. Do you know what the last thing is that I said? Do you remember?
I think you were talking about me taking on powerful people, but I explained that while you were gone.
Yeah, well, and you have, and there's been a time in my life where I was told to not hold powerful men accountable because they're on our side and you can't do that, and that's going to help Donald Trump, and you can't say these things, and you're going to hurt them, and you're going to hurt the cause. Is it worth, And that's not even anything remotely close to what this woman has experienced. Nothing, like nothing. And, I don't want to live in a country, any country, that allows anybody to do this to women. Still, I'm tired of this shit. If people even knew the world that women walk through every single day, while it be at work or getting on the subway or in their own families or in the military or, at their kids' schools, the levels of misogyny that we experience and objectification and catcalling and grabbing and, disgusting harassment. People won't leave you alone. And, I was young once. I mean, I guess I am still technically, but young. I worked in bars. I mean, men are capable of some really, really disgusting, nasty, vile shit. Even the quote unquote nice ones. So don't ever be surprised when you hear this stuff. When the rumors started swirling about Eric Swalwell, this was a few weeks ago. Now, when I first heard them, I went to Julie and I was like, Julie, like, and I showed you, right? This is the conversations that are being had. And my thing is always, is this Russia? Like, you know what I mean? The first time anytime, it doesn't matter who it is. That's the first thing. But once we started to hear more and more and more, and the sheer volume, I was like, oh, no. This is something. And then after, today, and certainly this reporting, I mean, like, anybody who is questioning the validity or credibility of these accusations, I don't know what to tell you other than check yourself. If you are making excuses for this man, you have some either internalized misogyny as a woman that you need to deal with, or you are a man who is enabling these violent, horrible things happening to women all the time. And I'm tired of living in a world where this is acceptable. Because, I don't care who wins. Like, if I have to say okay to sexual assault in order for our person to win, like, that's not a win, in my opinion. Not now, not in 2026.
Listen, here's the difference between us and them. Ruben Gallego endorsed Eric Swalwell. He just called on him to drop out. The chairman of his campaign, Congressman Garcia, just called on him to drop out. Nancy Pelosi, who endorsed Eric Swalwell, just put out a statement saying the young woman who has made serious allegations against Congressman Swalwell must be respected and heard. This is an extremely sensitive matter. It must be appropriately investigated with full transparency and accountability. As I discussed with Congressman Swalwell, it is clear that it is best done outside of a gubernatorial campaign. We are better than they are. Yep. Mike Johnson has never said a fraction of this about the Epstein files.
Oh, God, no.
Neither has John Thune. Neither has any Republican except for 4. And still not about Trump. Right? Except for Marjorie Taylor Greene, because she's out of there now. So we're better than this.
Mm-hmm.
We are better than this. Let's all be better than this.
Yeah.
Let's all be better than this.
Yeah. And that means Andrew Cuomo. That, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just...
This is so reminiscent of, by the way, this is so reminiscent of Cuomo, where everybody's like, oh, no, not our COVID.
Oh, yeah, not our Cuomo. Yes, our Cuomo.
Yeah.
I know some of those women. I have talked to them.
Yeah.
I have talked to them. And what he has done on the other side, like, first there's the harassment and the assault, right? And then there is the harassment, financial and legal harassment, using New York State tax dollars to subpoena these women's gynecological records. Like, this is the reason, and really just bullies them until they drop the charges. And then it's, well, she dropped the charges. Then obviously he didn't do it. Obviously she was making it up. Like, we can't win. There could be a video of it, and there'd be some way to blame her for it. Somebody somewhere would be like, well, she was wearing those shoes, or, well, she left her house today. She had it coming. How dare people even speak like that?
And then the other thing on Twitter that I'm seeing, which is so infuriating, again, from Democrats, I'm not even talking about Republicans. Republicans are loving this. I had Rick Grinnell.
Oh, yeah, they're like salivating.
I had Rick Grinnell retweet me today about this, and I'm like, sit down, motherfucker. Like, are you kidding me? Sit down. Like, you work for Donald Trump, so sit the fuck down. But I had Democrats coming after me being like, how dare you say this while there's a pedophile in the White House?
Hello?
So
we talk about him too, all day, every day.
What do you think I talk about 24/7? But I'm not going to say, well, because Donald Trump is still in the White House, that it's okay to have Eric Swalwell sitting in Sacramento, or even in Congress if this is true. Like, come on. Come on. I mean, come on.
This is where too, like, I just, again, this is just another layer of, like, there are more women, right? Single women in the United States right now that owning homes than ever in the history of this country.
They don't want to get married. They don't even want to date.
They don't want to get married. They don't want to date. They don't want to get anything. because they're tired of living in a world that either is the Eric Swalwells or it's the Scott Galloway saying, well, men who aren't in relationships are more apt to be depressed and do this and that, but women aren't in relationships are just fine and they have hobbies. And I'm like, stop. The male loneliness epidemic, which by the way is the everyone loneliness epidemic, all that means is for decades and decades and decades, men had two jobs, and it was to provide and it was to, like, I don't know, just support the family or whatever. But when women showed up being able to take care of themselves, they're demanding more of you. Emotional support, communication, kindness, all of these things. And when you bring nothing to the table, women don't want it. They're saying, no, not good enough. And they're going, they won't sleep with me. I'm tired of it. And then we have this shit with powerful men taking advantage of young women who work for them. How dare you? And then whipping his penis out? Like, are you kidding me? The audacity. And the thing is, in my life, I am surrounded, and I know you are too, Julie, surrounded by good men who would never in a million years think of doing something like this, ever. And they almost talking to Joe about it, he almost laughs because he's like, what? He's like, what? Who would ever do something like that? And I'm like, you'd be surprised. A lot. I remember when the Harvey Weinstein stuff was happening, I was talking to my dad about it. And he was like, he's like, I'm having a hard time, even just wrapping my head around this. He's like, who would just do that? I'm like, men, all these men. Disgusting. And I'm sick of it, Julie. Do you want to look at this article?
Sure.
Okay. Here it is. San Francisco Chronicle. They were the first out the door with this. Ex-staffer says Eric Swalwell, candidate for California governor, sexually assaulted her. This is a very long article. We've posted it in its entirety on our Instagram. I had to screenshot and sort of makeshift shantytown it together, but it's wild, the details here. And I know you talked about some of this while I was getting my internet taken care of, but this victim said that Eric Swalwell, who is married and 17 years her senior, tried to kiss her in a car when she drove him home from a donor meeting one night. Driving him to another event weeks later, she said Swalwell pulled out his penis in the car and asked her to perform oral sex on him. She said she did so in a parking lot. In September 2019, the woman said Swalwell invited her out for drinks, and she became so severely intoxicated that she does not remember the rest of the night. She said she woke up naked in Swalwell's hotel bed and could feel the effect of vaginal intercourse. She said Swalwell distanced himself from her afterward, and the relationship faded. 5 years later, the woman said she attended an April 2024 charity gala where Swalwell was honored. The woman, who no longer worked for Swalwell, said they met for drinks afterward, during which she became so inebriated that she only remembers snippets of the night, including pushing Swalwell away and telling him no, while he allegedly forced himself on her. The woman texted a friend 3 days later that she was sexually assaulted by Swalwell. She wrote in a series of messages reviewed by the Chronicle that she had blacked out but woke up once during it and even told him to stop at one point. This happened one other time when I was working with him, but I convinced myself I was an equal party in it, even though the same pattern. I blacked out and he had sex with me, she wrote, referring to the 2019 incident. The Chronicle spoke with the friend and the woman's then boyfriend, whom she said she had told about the 2024 assault when she got home the next day. Both described her as still disoriented that morning, and her then boyfriend said he encouraged her to report Swalwell to the police. The woman said she did not go to the authorities because she was afraid they would not believe her. Medical records show she obtained pregnancy and STD tests a week after the incident.
I want to just say something. If you read the CNN story, there's an allegation by another woman,
I have that up here too.
and the stories are remarkably similar. I just want to be clear: the two women do not know each other, and CNN purposely did not tell the first survivor about the second survivor or what she said. But after they were done getting both their stories, the producer said, "It sounds to me like you both have very, very similar stories." The second woman was also incredibly disoriented the next morning, also does not remember what happened, also blacked out, also did not know what was going on until she woke up and was like, holy shit, what just happened? I don't know whether they got roofied. I don't
That's
know.
what I'll
tell you something. It sounds very, very similar.
Yep.
Very similar.
I personally have never been roofied, thank God, but several of my very close friends have. One of my best friends 2 times. This happened to her when she was living in LA, and describe it very similarly, like waking up and having no idea what just happened to them. This just doesn't happen. You don't get that drunk. I mean, like, yes, you can be so drunk. Oh, I blacked out. No, not like this. Not like this.
She told me that she'd never been drunk. She'd never blacked out like this in her life. She said,
That's
I've
fine.
certainly been drunk before, but not like this. And I just wish people, the San Francisco Examiner story is behind a paywall, and I really wish they would just take it off from behind the paywall.
I did. I tried to click on it earlier when I wasn't signed in, and I could go through. But if not, go to the Mayday Instagram. Yeah. I put it all up there.
I just really want everybody to read the story, because once you read it, it is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. I was a young congressional staffer, and I worked for a congressman named Frank Pallone. He was my first boss. Like, the most wonderful experience of my professional life. Like, he was just the best guy. He still is. He's still in Congress. The best man. So respectful, so wonderful. So my commitment to him as a 23-year-old when I went to work for him, was so incredible, because I wasn't cynical yet, right? Like, like my heart belonged to this, not romantically, but professionally. Like, my heart belonged to this guy. It still does. I would still do whatever, like if he was stuck in a Turkish prison, I'd fly out there tomorrow to spring him. I mean, that would never happen because he's like this down. But my point is, like, I love him. He's the best. And but as a 23-year-old, and she was 21, I mean, she's barely legal. I still remember what it's like to have complete faith in your boss, and you don't have a life when you work on the Hill at that level. She was this driver, this woman. Like, you just believe so much, and you start to, like, it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it, but you're working 24/7. Like, it's the most awful job in the world from a time perspective. You don't have a life. You don't have a family. You don't have kids. You don't have, I didn't see my friends for like months on end. I mean, I remember my first year that I was working for him, I was Christmas Eve. I was like stuffing calendars to get out Christmas cards belatedly for him. Like, the point is, like, this is, as a young staffer, and to have somebody take advantage of you like this. I mean, thank God I didn't work for somebody like this, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I believed in somebody like this and they, at the age of 21, not propositioned me, whipped out their penis and told me to,
I mean, that's not even a proposition. That's like a...
Yeah, I don't, I don't even know what my reaction would be. I mean, I don't think I would go for it, but I think what I would do is,
you'd have to, like, flirt your way out of it.
Flirt your way out of it. In fact, I've had horrible bosses where I did flirt my way out of it.
Yep.
And then, of course,
to do with these people,
hypothetically, lawyers would be like, well, that sounds like you weren't protesting too much. Well, no,
Right.
you're terrified for your job. You're terrified for your career,
For your life.
for your life.
I mean,
And
that talk to any woman who's dealt with these kinds of situations where you have to kind of laugh and go ha ha ha, and smile and try not to be too harsh and not make them uncomfortable or feel rejected, because God knows how they're going to react to that. So you have to get yourself away from the situation as safely and quickly as possible. And usually that's by going ha 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 and batting your eyes at them.
yeah. And, you know, when I was 30, I don't know if I ever told this story to you, Michelle. When I was 30, I worked for a very, very powerful man. He was a client. I was a consultant by that point, but he was a very powerful, early 30s. I wasn't 30s, a little older client. And if I had done anything to him, my career would have been over.
Mm.
I was at a Christmas party. I was wearing a strapless dress with a strapless bra underneath it. He came up behind me, pulled down the back of my dress, unhooked my bra, took it, and I had to literally like this so nobody could pull my dress back up. And I was like, "Can I have my bra back?" No. Took it, hung it up in his office, and whenever anybody would come into his office and say, "Whose bra is that?" he would say, "Oh, it's Julie Roginsky's bra." And I, whenever I'd be in his office, would say, can I please have my bra back? He'd be like, no. And I'd be like, please. And he'd say no, and I never got it back. Ever. And I had to sit there and laugh and smile. And he would also insist on having meetings at strip clubs all the time.
What?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, that's like all kinds of illegal, like all of it.
Is it? Because he didn't force me and I wasn't his employee, but my career very much depended on being in his good graces. And I was at least a decade older than this woman.
It never ends. It never ends.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, we talk about the woman in France who was drugged by her husband for years while her husband brought men into their home to rape her while she was passed out.
Yep.
For money for years. Yep. And she didn't know what was happening to her. Huge story in France and around the world. There is a WhatsApp channel with 35,000 men in it where they trade secrets on how to drug and rape women, including their own mothers and wives. You know what the number one cause of death of pregnant women?
Their partners.
Murder from their partners.
Their partners. I say all of this to say that I think all of us have been through a few things if you're women. Mm-hmm. And if you're men too, some men, I'm not going to suggest that this is just a problem for women.
Women, but yeah.
And I guess what I'm going to say is, one, if you have sons, raise them to be good people.
Yes.
Because it's important, because good boys grow up to be good men for the most part. Or I shouldn't say good boys because that sounds kind of stupid, but people whose mothers have instilled good values in them grow up to treat women well. And mothers who demand respect from their sons raise men who expect that women will demand respect from them. But also, I think, and this is very important, believe these women when they come forward. And just because they're Democrats does not mean they're good people. Just because they vote your way. Donald Trump votes the way MAGA wants them to vote. I mean, he does. He's making all of MAGA's dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
With the rhetoric about immigration, with the rhetoric about locking up Hillary Clinton, with the rhetoric about Democrats, with the banning abortion, all of that, right? He is making all of their dreams come true. So because he does, they excuse his bullshit. And
Yeah.
that's how we ended up in this situation.
He's a means to an end. Yeah.
Please don't make that mistake.
No. No. And you know, with Andrew Cuomo too, like here's the thing. Back in 2020, when 1,000 New Yorkers were dying a day, we could not count on the President of the United States or anyone in Washington, D.C. to give guidance or personal protection equipment or testing or anything, information to the city of New York. That was ground zero for a pandemic. And the one person who went on TV every day was Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
He talked to us. And I tuned into that shit every morning. I was like, hoorah, Andrew Cuomo. Thank God for Andrew Cuomo. I was all about it. And then I started to hear this shit. And I'm like, come on, man.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, I'd heard stuff about Andrew Cuomo, so I never bought into a shit.
Yeah.
So
I did just want to, for some reason, I can't X out this ad thing on here, but this is the CNN exclusive. 4 women describe sexual misconduct by Eric Swalwell, including a former staffer who says he raped her. Where is the part that has, here we go. One woman who he connected online with Swalwell over her interest in Democratic politics says she ended up extremely drunk inside his hotel room after a night out with the congressman, with little memory of what occurred. Earlier in the night, at a bar, he kissed her and touched her leg without her consent, she said. Another woman who described receiving unsolicited nude messages from Swalwell was social media creator Ali Samarco. You guys probably know who that is. She's part of the kind of Midas-y little crew. She said she initially reached out to the congressman on Twitter to discuss politics. I truly never thought he would respond. I had like 1,000 followers at the time, she said, and he actually responded. Swalwell denied the women's allegations. Of course he did. Of course he did.
So, look, we don't need to belabor this. I think we've all made our point here. All I'm going to say is just please just be human, folks. I know people in our chat are so wonderful. They always are. But to anybody who might be joining us for the first time, just be human and understand that politics and partisanship does not protect you from being a bad person. I know a lot of bad Democrats. I worked on Capitol Hill. I know a lot of bad Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And I've dedicated my life to this party in ways that these people, keyboard warriors on Twitter, have not.
I think that often the misogyny on the left is much more.
Yeah.
Insidious.
So I am somehow being taken out of the penalty box on CNN tonight.
Oh, wait, I did see that message from you. I was like hopping from stream to stream and I
saw. Well, it turns out I guess they needed somebody from the Me Too movement to come on, and Scott Jennings was not that guy. So guess who they called? Good old Julie Roginsky.
I'm seeing this right now on your text.
So I will be on at 11:30, and the only reason I'm doing this is so that whoever the person is who banned me at CNN, when she gets in Monday morning and she sees that I was on, they can explain to her why they had to call me. Also, I really wanted to stand up for this woman who I spoke to today. Otherwise, you would not see my ass on that network.
Can I say something, Julie? Can
Yes.
I say something? I feel very proud to be your friend and someone who works with you because you do such brave work. It's not easy to do. It really isn't.
Thank you. BJG, my son, absolutely roots for the Pens over the Flyers. My son went to the Devils Pens game yesterday with my husband, who is a season ticket holder to the Devils and wore his Sidney Crosby shirt, and very much rooted against the Devils for the Pens, and he will 100% be rooting for the Pens against the Flyers. So thank you for that. Thank you, Michelle. I really, really appreciate that.
I mean it.
Thank you. And I love you, and all of you guys in the chat. Thank you. I am, yes, it's going to be 11:30 Eastern tonight. It's going to be late. I got to get in the shower and actually try to.
I know our niece is coming over in a bit. She goes to Fordham, and she we call her our niece. It's our cousin, but she's in college. And
Is it a bedtime, Michelle? Why is she coming over so late?
She and her little friend went to go see a show at the Kennedy Center. Or not the Kennedy Center, Jesus, Lincoln Center. Oh my God, not Kennedy Center.
The Kennedy Center.
That's a long trip.
Yeah.
And also, why? Lincoln Center, and they're going to go out to the bars, Columbia bars, so they're stopping over to hang with us before they go out. Because they're going out at like 11. I was like, oh, I remember those days. When you'd leave to go out at 11.
You'd just be getting the shower to go out right now.
I know. It's like you're doing like the little pregame shots, and you're playing your loud music, and you're like, oh my God, let's get ready together. Those were the days. Those were the days.
Those were the days. And now I'm like, oh my God, I have to stay up till 11:30 to do that. Seemed like a good idea at 7:30 or whenever they reach out.
It'll be great. It'll be great. And we'll post that clip for everybody on our social. So.
Okay, guys, great to see you. We will see you tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking much more about this tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays for Sanity. We're going to have Lawrence.
Yeah, we got Dana Dubois and Lawrence Winter with us. That'll be really fun. Yeah.
Could it be live to my Substack, Shalane? No, I don't think you can stream CNN to Substack.
It's a lot hard. We might get like a strike for that.
Yeah, we get a strike for it, so we can't do it. But what we can do is post it on. We'll post it on the Mayday YouTubes after.
Yeah, we'll do it on the YouTubies and the Instagrams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we'll just do that, and I'll there's nothing I'm going to say on that network that I have not said much more to you guys today. I always save the good stuff for you guys. I mean, cable's.
That's true.
Cable's a dying medium. So I really, as I said, the only reason 11:30 tonight, Rosie, Eastern, which is, I don't know what that is, Melbourne time. You can figure it out. My math is not that good. So it'll be on CNN, and it's just
at 11:30, right? 11:30 Eastern.
I'm so tired. I just want to sleep.
There's a couple people more like asked. I think they missed
11:30 Eastern PM tonight in just over 2 hours. Okay, great to see you all. We'll see you tomorrow, and thank you for being the wonderful people that you all are. I know that all of you are just the bomb, and I hate Twitter so much, and I love.
It sucks so bad.
I love you. So there you go.
Yeah, okay. and I just want to say also thank you to everyone who had joined me for the Artemis coverage. It was so fun. And honestly, I have not been that excited about a space mission, I think, since I was a kid. So it was really fun to experience that with everyone as well. It was like a really positive, hopeful thing.
Well, according to Ms. Binks, the capsule lids popped and they're going to come out soon. Michelle, you want to go back? I got to go, but you want to go back?
No? I don't know. I haven't eaten since this afternoon, so I might have to go eat something. Okay. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning, though, for sure.
See everybody tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.